It's tabletop time.
I'm Rob.
I'm Jazza.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Jeremy.
And we are about to embark on a world of whimsy and adventure in Hogwarts First Class.
First Class? That sounds interesting. What's the hook with First Class? Why is it called First Class?
Well, I saw the movie X-Men First Class and I thought, that's a cool idea. No, it's the first group of students who ever went to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
This is canon.
No,
at
it's not.
JK, you tell her. Maybe don't.
No, maybe don't.
Speaking of JK, let's just put JK in a box and far away from what we're doing here
what
together.
we're playing with
we're
is
mucking
your
around.
nostalgic childhoods. That's
And
where,
ours.
and ours. I grew up with the book.
We're going to ruin
I
it.
read Harry Potter when I was 11, and we're taking it away and just having a journey in
Having
that
a
kind of
romp.
world of whimsy and magic.
Absolutely.
I'm just
And-
trying not to step out of the accent. 'Cause if I do, I'm not getting back in it.
Embrace,
Stay there.
Embrace that world of whimsy and wonder, and try to relax and remember that we're just playing a game. And in the world of wherever year we're in, things are not going to be historically accurate, and we're not trying to make them historically accurate. These accents we're all going to terribly put on aren't even remotely appropriate for the era, but it's fine.
Apologize if I offend anyone.
Suspension of disbelief is the core
Enjoy.
principle of this entire one-shot. But if you guys love it, and we sincerely hope you do because we want to love it, there's room for future years of Hogwarts to enjoy together. Just worth putting that out there.
Do we want to follow these students through their years at Hogwarts? Who knows? If you like
find
them,
out.
we'll find
That'd be
out.
pretty cool.
Now, it's worth also very worthwhile mentioning that this was voted on by our dear patrons. They voted on the Harry Potter
They chose this.
one shot, the First Class. So chosen by wonderful patrons. Thank you so much, patrons. And also, this is brought to you by Black Magic and DaVinci Resolve, sponsor of Tabletop Time. They brought us back from the dead. We used the A10 Mini switcher as a switcher for our battle report recently for the first time.
Oh my God.
You'll see that come out later this week. I'm going to say it was game changing in a number of ways.
It was a very cool toy.
It was very cool.
more
It was
than a toy.
amazing to use, but also we learnt so much about the editing software I use every day from the file that it made for us by default. It's just such a cool suite of software and hardware. Super amazing. So thank you, Blackmagic, for providing us with amazing hardware and software, and to our patrons for supporting us and making all this stuff possible.
Speaking of magic, is it time to embark on a
I think it's time.
Let's get on with it.
So, we are going to briefly overview the setting, and the setting is somewhere around the 10th to 11th century. Hogwarts has been founded by the four founding fathers, mothers and fathers of Hogwarts. We have Rowena Ravenclaw, Helga Hufflepuff, Godric Gryffindor, and Salazar Slytherin. And our players will be young 11-year-old tykes in this era of Britain, whatever it's called at the time. And we're going to basically watch their journey unfold. So, would you like to introduce your characters?
I feel like Rob should start. He's got the accent hanging on the tip of his tongue.
Oh, that's just mean. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm Liam McCulloch. I'm a 11-year-old boy from somewhere in the Highlands of Ireland or Scotland.
Whenever the accent sounds most
Wherever that's from, it's a bit
Ireland,
of a
I think.
bastardization, but that's fine.
Right in between on the border.
Exactly.
There's no border.
There's no
between.
border. I live in the ocean.
On a little island.
A little island between Ireland
Island
and
between Ireland and Scotland.
And on the island is where my family, I don't know where I went with that, is where my family tames dragons.
Very cool.
That's all you get.
Is that something that Liam's really
I'd say,
into?
is it a bit of a dragon sanctuary? Because we are in the
Sure.
height of dragon slaying.
Sure, let's go with that.
Yeah, because think of it, like the Muggles are like organizing and building castles, and now dragons are a problem. So
They're wonderful creatures if you can get a hold of them.
battalion of foot soldiers clad in armor can take care of one, I tell you that. The best longbowmen, longbows probably haven't been invented yet. Historians are going to be like, actually, no, just forget about
Do you
it.
know all the stuff like that become core parts of the Harry Potter universe? Things like auras and all this stuff. Just picturing how this would feel in
Come
like
together.
Anyway, well, hello, Liam.
Pleasure to meet you. Top of the morning.
I'm Nicholas Plod. I'm from Northern England. I'm in a family of farmers. Plod sort of started as a little bit of a moniker, a bit of an insult, because we plod around, we get the job done. But they really rely on me. In a family of 10, I'm the oldest, and I'm 11. And I'm really working hard to keep the farm going. Just don't question the accent. And I'm Muggle-born, so I don't even know about the wizarding world yet. And I wonder if there is one, or if I'll be introduced to it sometime. We'll find out in this episode of Art Attack. I'm sorry, I had to get that out of my system. Wiley.
Yeah. My name is Wiley. Wiley. No, it's Wiley Wendrick, in fact. And I come from a family of potion makers, but they're not so good potion makers. In fact, we are somewhat rehearsed in magic, but not overly. So, yeah, they make potions and they sell them, some to muggles, or attempting potions to muggles, but yes, not overly too
It's
special.
a bit cheeky, but there's no wizarding academy.
Yes.
Not academy. There's no Ministry of Magic yet. It's like a circle of powerful wizards that kind of have discussions at meetings every now and then. It's not so much the organised. Yeah. But you're in a time of great persecution.
I feel like just before we move on from characters, we should probably physically describe ourselves.
Oh, yes,
because we sort of did skip past that. But we need we're setting into potentially 7 years of Hogwarts.
You're all 11, so
yeah.
that's the first thing.
Yeah. Jeremy, do you want to start? A physical description and touch.
Maybe you start.
I haven't. Yeah.
I'm Nicholas Plod. I've got sandy sort of, I'm going to say, straw-coloured hair, long and scruffy. Looks like it's really part of the hay that I clean out every day. Gets stuck in me hair, and it just looks like my hair is sticking out in different directions. And I'm going to say I'm a little broader, even for 11 years old. I've got a built stature. I stack stone, and I wrestle cattle. And for an 11-year-old, that's pretty impressive.
Oh, you have to.
So I may plod, but I plod hard.
I'm gonna slip into that so bad.
What?
Your accent.
Good luck. The northern one's really hard to do.
Yeah, I know, but I'm.
Come on, give us your description.
Yarchichar, start with that.
So Liam's see, I just immediately went lower.
Don't worry about it. Embrace it.
Just go for it.
The whimsy of the magical world is accents flow and change. It's just part of the magic in the air.
Liam. See, I keep going lower. Anyway, Liam has. I just dropped the accent. Liam has.
We really need to just forget about the accents.
Let's just
and
go.
what I mean is
just
not
play the game.
It's fine. Doing the accents is fine.
I'll get back into
They're going to be terrible. We're Australian. We have one of the hardest things to do ever for us is to do accents because we bloody talk like this, mate. So just forget about worrying about them and just do it. Or don't, but do it.
So Liam's from the Scottish Highlands, or Irish. He's Irish-Scottish hybrid. He's got long, shaggy hair. It's kind of dark brown with a hint of like red in it. Mm-hmm. Cool. But he's a child. So
long, or how long is his hair?
Like shoulder length. But he's just kind of like falling back behind him. Cool. Just like brushed back. I think like Ned Stark, but with like more
cool.
red.
I like it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wiley has kind of grey silvery kind of hair because there was a mishap with some potions and with his parents and
I
stuff.
like that.
Nice.
Yeah, that's just happened, and he has kind of bright blue eyes. Pretty tall, pretty lanky as well, and a bit slummy. Like, where's the scarf? Of course. And yeah, like kind of more grey, mono kind of clothes.
I love the where's the scarf. There's no uniforms yet.
No.
It's the first
It's just we wear
it's
scarves.
You're just
in
wearing
general.
scarves. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
nice to.
Just
It's fashion day.
Is it
Just
hand-knitted?
generally.
Of course it is. It's 10 whatever. Or it's 9 whatever. I don't know. Is it 982? Is it 1042? Who knows? So, who would like to start?
Should we roll?
I might offer myself up as this because this is my first experience with the Wizarding World. Everyone else has been in the Wizarding World, but it might be a fun way to enter into it through Nicholas's eyes.
Cool. So, I would like you then, Nicholas, to explain to us. You set your scene. Where are you? What are you doing?
It's a dismal day. Pretty scruffy afternoon as far as afternoons go. I've had a bloody hard day. Today was actually sheep were getting shorn. It's a real big time of the year for the family. And I've only been doing this for a couple of years as far as carrying some of the load, but you know, I'm really ready to pitch in and take up responsibility. And I've been shoring sheep all day, and I'm knackered, but satisfied.
So, you're carrying, you're watching them load up carts and boxes of shorn sheep. It's a large farming area. Lots of the peasantry in the area are farming for the local baron. And you're towards the end of the day. You're very tired. And you see one of your numerous younger siblings run up, and they're watching the goings on of what's happening. They're very excited. The sheep are being sheared. And they are quite close to one of the containers. There's a bit of a rope system. They're pulling and lifting this thing. And you're quite nearby. And suddenly, there's a snap. And the crate falls toward your younger sibling.
Millie! Watch out!
And it's going to crush them. And in a moment of something you've never experienced before, your hand darts out. And it's almost like a blast of energy, and the crate blows backwards and blows away from Millie. And she's safe and spared.
Millie, you're right. You got to watch where you're running, lass.
Boy? What just happened? What was that? And you see a couple of the farmhands who were watching the scene.
There must have been a bird flying, like a big bird. I'm looking around for a large bird.
Make a deception roll.
Okay. Challenge level. What is it? Nothing.
Deception.
Critical fail.
Okay, critical fail.
Yeah.
He's a witch! He's a witch! The boy's a witch!
I have no idea what you're talking about. Don't be ridiculous.
And the peasantry already begin to turn on you. Even Millie, who you just saved, is backing away from you with fear in her eyes.
And am I aware that I did that in that moment?
You have it's unbelievable, but you have the sense that you did. And occasionally in your life,
it's impossible.
Little things have happened occasionally where you've suspected, but you've always been like, that was just weird. Perhaps it was a divine act or something. But you've seen weird things have happened around you in your life.
It was the Lord. I must have. It's a miracle.
Grab him.
No.
Take him to the church.
I run.
And you begin running.
Yeah, I'm 11. I'm like, I can interweave through.
And you're running down the muddy streets. Your life has just turned on its head. You've just saved your younger sister, but at the same time, it seems like you might have damned yourself. Witchcraft, where before the Inquisition, but it's still, it's
getting primed up.
It's bad news. Yeah. And as you're running along, you dart away, and the mob is sort of chasing you, and you bump readily into a well-dressed woman. Who's standing tall and proud with a sort of a diadem on her head with long black hair and fair skin in a lovely, almost gown of nobility, who looks down upon you.
Oh, sorry, I'm just and I go to run.
She grabs your arm. Nicholas Plod?
How did you know my name?
I've been keeping an eye on you.
Have you got somewhere I can hide?
I do, in fact. Hold on tight. This is going to feel a bit weird. And there's a flash and a churning blast of magic, and you disappear and reappear somewhere else. It feels like your guts have turned inside out, and you land with a crash
Where
in a
am
field. You're in the Highlands now, she says.
What on earth was that?
And you turn your head, and in front of you, on a cliff beside a lake, is a massive castle.
Whoa!
Scene. And she says, welcome to Hogwarts. And then we'll go to the next person. Who's next?
Shall we roll?
Yeah. You're going to have a lot to deal with.
Wait, higher or lower?
It's very traumatic.
Lowell.
Lowell goes first.
I think so. I don't know. What do you think? Oh.
So who's first?
I'll take it. Bring it on.
You're sitting by the hearth fire. It's early evening. One of your parents is home, your father. And there is a sharp rapping at the door. Fetch it, boy!
Hi, Dad.
Or I should say, fetch it, boy.
Hi, Pa.
I'm Irish too. I'm your pa, and I'm also Irish. Fetch the bloody door.
I get up and I answer the bloody door.
And in front of you, you see a distinguished-looking man
Who the bloody hell are you?
long beard, who you recognise to be Salazar Slytherin, a reputed wizard. And he's visited once or twice before. Yes. He looks down.
Hey, Master
boy.
Salazar.
What was your name again?
Liam McCulloch.
Wonderful. May I come inside?
Hey, certainly. I'll get me Pa.
With a wave of his hand, a broomstick floats in and goes and settles itself upon the stand in your house. And he walks in, and your father comes out and he says, "Oh, pleasure to see you there. Take a seat. What can I? Well, I guess it must be time then, hey?
What you talking about?
Well, son, we didn't want to ruin the surprise, but you're going to boarding school."
But I thought I was going to stay here and learn to train the dragons.
When someone as important as Mr. Slytherin here wants your own boy for his academy, I can't say we could refuse.
But why not me brothers? Why me?
Well, boy, because you're the smartest of the lot.
I know that.
Exactly, and I've had my eye on you. I think you'd make a fine addition to the academy, and more than that, you would study directly under me. There are other teachers, but in my house you would find excellence beyond compare.
Hi, that does sound good.
Wonderful. So you've got everything, or your wand?
Not much to take, but let's go.
Your dad's like, I've packed your bag, son, don't worry. And then he flicks his wand and this trunk goes down the thing and floats into the center of the room.
Quick to see the back of me, are ya?
Well, I won't say you're not a handful, son, but this will be good for you. Teach you a bit of discipline. I thought dragons could, but I guess not.
Hey, they're just like big cats.
Big hot cats.
He says, nursing a bird.
Nursing a bird. And Slytherin just says, wonderful. So, I imagine you cannot fly yet.
Hey, not unless you got a dragon I can jump on.
I suppose you can journey with me. And he brandishes his wand and charms your trunk to levitate and walks out the door, leading you to fly towards Hogwarts.
Let's go then.
And we'll lead towards Wiley. What you doing? Set your scene.
I'm just chilling. It's chilling in the slums kind of thing. My parents kind of sent me out to try and sell some potions kind of thing.
Cool.
And yeah.
So at the end of your long day, you head home from a somewhat unfruitful day of making potions, and you arrive to your very modest home, to a sort of very warm-looking woman who's sitting and speaking with your mother. She's got curly brown hair and sort of a big smile and rosy cheeks on her face, and she nods towards you as you enter.
Oh, hello.
Greetings. I'm Helga, she says, in the wrong accent.
I'm Wiley.
Well, pleasure to meet you then. I'd like to offer you something.
What might that be?
A place at a school, a place of learning. You're going to be learning well and learning fast, good boy. This place is a small change to your future, as lovely as it is.
Right.
So, how do you like the sound of coming to school with me?
What kind of school is this?
Well, it's a mighty big castle up on a hill.
Oh, okay.
There's a lake and there's a forest and, well, it's quite wonderful if I do say so.
Oh.
And you'll be with other children, other magic children. It'd be nice. You've probably not had that much around here, selling things to other muggles.
No.
So, Shall we go then?
Yes. Okay.
Well, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, could it?
Yeah.
Your mother and I
Take it or
have,
leave it.
your mother and I have talked over the details, and
Yes.
everything's sorted.
Well, goodbye then, Mother.
Oh, come on now, give her a hug.
I'll go and hug her.
Okay, good. She gives
We're
you
not that
a big.
close.
She gives you a big hug, and then Helga gives you a big hug, and Helga's tearing up, and she's like, "Oh, such an emotional moment. Oh, mother and child separating. Come on, then, let's
Really,
go."
it's not that much.
And they just kind of whisk you away from your various situations, and through the sort of variant way that things happened, you all wind up arriving at Hogwarts around the same time. So you guys left earlier. You apparate there. The anti-apparition chants haven't been established yet. And a cart rocks up, a couple of broomsticks land, and from various situations, about a dozen students all end up arriving at roughly the same time on the grounds of Hogwarts. And you see a big bearded man with a sort of a ginger beard, wearing a red doublet and quite large clothes, with a ruby encrusted sword at his hilt, who looks quite like one of the king's henchmen, walk up towards you. He's got a large traditional wizard's hat on. Greetings, everyone. I am Godric Gryffindor, and I welcome you all to Hogwarts.
Did they grab you out of nowhere too? I whisper across to the person next to me, who happens to be Liam.
Who the hell do you think you are talking to me?
Never you mind him. And a young boy with short brown hair and like big wide eyes offers his hand, and he says, "Pleasure to meet you. Don't worry, those kinds of people.
What's your name?
I'm Merlin."
Hello, Merlin. I'm Nicholas Plod, but people just call me Plod.
And he firmly grips your hand and shakes it. He says, "Lovely to meet you. You look a little bit out of sorts. Are you all right?"
Well, I've got more shearing to do tomorrow, and I'm awfully behind already.
"Oh, shearing.
I'm gonna get in trouble for... I don't even know how I got here.
You were apparated here. It was a spell cast by lovely Miss Ravenclaw, I believe."
A spell, you say?
"Yes."
How common is this sort of thing?
Oh. And then the sort of sharp-looking woman leans in and says, a woman, I say, a young girl, and she says, uneducated swine then. Disgusting. You're not suited to be at a place like this. Can't you see it's a prestigious magic academy?"
I can't say I feel all that suited to be in a place like this.
"And you're absolutely not." And she like flips her robe and walks
I'm not in class
snootily
with
away. Directly up to you, and says, "However, you, sir, look far more suited for this kind of place."
Do I recognise her?
You don't.
Okay.
But she offers her hand.
By looking at her, is she like nobility?
She looks well, yes.
Yeah, I'll
yes.
schmooze her.
No,
I'll
definitely looks like nobility.
I'll take her hand and I'll do the whole...
Yep.
Hey,
And she says, "And what was your name?"
Liam McCulloch.
Nellens. "My name is Morgan Le Fay. Pleasure to meet you."
You too, lass.
And she shakes your hand. She says, "I was chosen by Gryffindor himself."
Aye, Slytherin came to me house and invited me along, but I was in the midst of feeding the dragons, so...
"Slytherin, is it?" Merlin runs up and he says, "I'm one of his. Yes."
Hey, pleasure to meet you.
"Got some aptitude," he says.
We'll see.
"Well, what about you, boy?"
My name is Wiley.
"Gosh, you're tall."
Yeah. Well, I was just born this way.
So while this is happening, this is kind of the students bustling and talking.
Yeah.
There's the adults are talking and doing things. It's all happening. But this is the kind of gossipiness.
Does anyone know what's going to happen? What's all this about?
Not a clue.
To learn magic. Well, more magic. And he pats a large book under his arm.
Can I
Merlin's got-
write a letter home to my parents?
You can't write at all. You're illiterate.
Can I? Can someone write a letter home? Can someone tell my parents where I am? They'll be awfully worried.
A hand.
You don't know how to write, mate.
A hand clasp on your shoulder, and I'm sorry for the nature in which we got here, but I'd like to say that we'll arrange everything for you.
Okay.
That's my much more accurate Rowena Ravenclaw Scottish rather than the Irish thing. Anyway,
if you say so.
I'm sorry, lad, but come on, inside with you all. And you're taken in to the nascent Hogwarts. There's a wizard sort of gesticulating with his wand, and some masonry is bending into shape, and he's crafting each little bit, and they're still perfecting. There's a witch on a broomstick up on high who's just going, and with each little flick of the tip of her wand, a tile is like setting in place on one of the wizard's towers. And the Hogwarts looks very different from the Hogwarts of the future. Like, it's forms and changes over the years. The forest completely surrounds the mountain that Hogwarts is on, as opposed to where it's been sort of reduced in the future. And the lake is still full, but the grand hall opens, and there aren't paintings, there aren't history, there aren't ghosts. It's like empty. It's a brand new castle. It's almost cold and uninviting, but there's a warmth. And as they come in, Godric flicks his wand, and things like candles appear and light.
It's a bit warmer.
Do you know a spell? I say to Wiley.
Or not. I know of spells, but I don't really know many of them.
What spells do you know of?
Well,
I don't know of any.
You can transform people, and you can transform things.
Into what?
Anything.
Anything.
Do you want to know what it's like to lose your fingers? Because I know a spell that can do that. My brother's taught me.
Well, I know more practical. Well, I don't. I know a few people have done that without a spell. This is a lot.
Well, this is a nice school. Is anyone else with Hufflepuff?
Yes.
I'm Baraith. Nice to meet you.
Your name's what?
Baraith.
Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Wiley.
And you see there's a young girl who has sun-kissed, sort of sunburnt cheeks, the look of someone who works outside, much like you would. And she's got long blonde hair braided back, but it's quite similar. It's got like flecks of, you can kind of tell, like sea salt hair. Like it's got the spray of it braiding back. And she looks a bit more like a friendly but more common. And she's like, I'm one of Hufflepuff's. Are you too?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Nice to meet you. And then she smiles, and you settle in. So, the first few days are a shock for one of you more than others. How do you begin to reconcile what's happened to you, young Nicholas? What's the process? How does Nicholas react over the coming days?
At first with shock, but slowly, as the shock subsides and a new world of possibilities and, dare I say, opportunity...
We'll say weeks pass as well, so weeks go by.
Okay, all right. All of a sudden there's a whole new world at my fingertips. Literally, that wasn't before. You see, my family have been farmers generation one after t'other, and I was expecting to just pull my weight until I died, just like my dad always says is the way of the common man. But all of a sudden I'm not a common man. Well, I'm not as impressive as everyone else here, but I'm a lot more impressive than the people back home, and that's pretty exciting, I'd say. Really interested in the spells that, I don't know, make stuff happen.
Cool. So, during the time, Merlin, who's a Slytherin, has found himself at odds with some of the other... There's probably only about 3 or 4 students. It's almost at this early stage. You're all in one class, but you've almost been picked as more like apprentices and disciples of the initial people as the first year. So there's only about, 3 to 4... I'll say there's 12, so there'd be 3 students per teacher. So Merlin is at odds in that he is quite friendly and sort of muggle friendly and lovely in the Slytherin group, whereas the other 2 are more elitist. He's not of that cloth. But conversely, Morgan in Gryffindor is incredibly unstoppable. She's unflappable. That's the attitude you get. And she has that courageous spirit of just indomitability that is seen in Gryffindor, whereas Merlin can be dominated in an argument. He's very apt and skilled, but a little bit more subdued, friendly and quiet. Baraith seems like a lovely girl in Hufflepuff, and she's incredibly friendly and happy to chat with sort of anyone. But it seems that you guys perfectly got sorted with a potential friend.
Except for me.
Merlin.
I'm Ravenclaw.
Oh, you're Ravenclaw, of course. Yes, well, I don't have a Ravenclaw NPC, but I'm sure there's a boy.
It's all right. I'm sure I'll make a friend eventually.
Not along then.
Well, Merlin Merlin becomes your friend. So over the next coming weeks, you're actually the only Muggle that had no understanding of wizardry in this first group of students, and Merlin almost takes a soft spot to you. Like, he takes you under his wing, and even though you're bigger than him, he's like this small, like, little nerdy boy, but he's lovely, and he's trying to help you and teach you how to read and write in his spare time. But he's the Slytherin kid. Whereas, how do you feel about Morgan, Liam? You find out through this time, she's actually a princess.
Ooh. Of
a country called Avalon.
Ooh.
I think I'd
It's
be
an
a bit interested in her,
off
to
the
be
coast
honest.
of Britain.
Pretty young thing, fancy family. It's right up my alley.
So would you say you're almost
like Liam's a
fancying her a little
player.
bit?
Pardon?
Would you say you almost like fancy her a little bit, like that angle? Yeah,
just a tad.
So
that dragon tamer charm.
she is definitely this. I'm going to insinuate that this is very much seems like the one way where she's used to that kind of attention, and she uses it to her advantage. She is trying to become the little queen of the school, and is succeeding. Almost all the students that are currently unnamed are like, she's the best. She's literally a princess. She's a badass at magic, and she was chosen by Gryffindor, who is awesome, and that's just super cool. So she's kind of like pointing around the school.
I don't like her.
Neither do I, says Merlin. She's a little bit rude.
Look, I come from a place where I understand you've got your betters and you know your place, but I mean, we're all just kids. I get we're from different places, but there's nothing different about her than I, except that she was born with a silver spoon in her mouth, and I with I just use my hands.
Well, I'd be quiet around her with that. I hear she knows a charm that gets your tongue stuck to your mouth. You might not be able to speak too much afterwards. I can counterspell it. I can counter the jinx. It's fine. But anyway, don't worry too much about her. She's a bully.
Yeah, I don't need to worry about people. I want to be a good wizard. I've never had a chance to be good at something.
Well, we'll get you there. We'll get you there, Nicholas.
Well, if you have any more practice things or homework for me, I can keep doing more in my spare time.
Cool. Well, he does help you in his spare time. You quickly find out that Merlin is a prodigy. He is probably the most skillful wizard of all the students, which is why Slytherin chose him. But weeks pass, and eventually we find ourselves in Charms class. You've managed to get your head around the basics of spellcasting to the point when you can now interact as a young little wizard or witch in Hogwarts. You are in one of the larger halls. There's a big glass window. Books have been moved in. There's books everywhere. A couple flutter to and fro between the shelves. And standing at the head of the class on this fine, sunny day is Rowena Ravenclaw.
I like her. She's
all right.
She picked me.
We've got to teach you something important today. We would consider this more than a basic class. However, in light of recent events, it must be a priority. The Muggles have recently begun adopting a sink or swim policy in their witch hunting. And thanks to a few clever witches, they've now decided that floating is a sign of guilt. So those floating charms won't be working anymore. And sinking, a sign of innocence. To that end, we should be teaching you a charm to allow you to survive underwater until the mob is satisfied.
Do we actually float?
If you cast a charm, you do. But that doesn't work anymore. They decided that floating means innocence. It seems like they're trying to kill us.
Yeah. I noticed that.
Anyway, with a simple charm, we can manage to breathe underwater. And with that, you can stay down there long enough for the mob to disperse. And then fish yourself out the other side of the river and go about your business. The spell
How do you do it then?
is Coily Infinitus. Coily Infinitus. Practice now.
Kylie Infinitus.
Kylie Infinitus.
Come on, a bit of heart in it.
Kylie Infinitus.
And you go through the process for a few times, and eventually, Merlin, Kylie Infinitus, and this bubble of air, just this weird distortion, pops around his head and begins hovering around his head.
Wow, look,
And
everyone, Merlin's
I'm
done
going
it.
to get you to all make a magic check with the difficulty being 2. And this is a charm, so if any of you have charms, you get the extra dice. Anyone else, you can, for all your spell casting, I'm going to let you use all your attributes, so you just have 4 dice. Base 3 plus 1. Difficulty level is 2.
3.
With a pop and a cast. Liam,
Kylie Infinitus.
the bubble pops around Liam's head.
I got 2.
2 successes. What was that spell again?
Kylie Infinitus.
And a bubble bubbles around Wiley's neck.
Success.
2 successes. Nicholas, you've struggled up until now, but this is the first spell you've ever cast that worked.
It worked. Kylie Infinitus. I did it.
It's the meaning and the intent, Rowena says. Now, to test your aptitude, we've got a little test. Come with me. And she stands up and files you all out of the classroom. And
Don't you think it's a bit odd that if we do this and they think we drown, we show up the next day, it's fine? What is that?
Well, I think the idea is you don't show up the next day. I think you move on.
it depends. Either way, you see, the thing is, they're kind of stupid. So,
What do you mean?
If you didn't drown, you're innocent.
That is a bit dumb.
So if you walk up the next day, you obviously didn't drown, eh?
Yeah, that's true.
So you're innocent of being a witch.
Oh.
Clicked.
So, you get led to the edge of the Great Lake. Now, we're trying out a new system. At the end of the year, we're tallying these points, and the winner gets a feast of dessert. And the winner of this challenge will be the one who stays the longest underwater. It's terribly inconsistent accent that I'm doing here. It's
great.
Because I'm trying to do a girl and Scottish, and I can't do it. Anyway, so
I'm
to
immersed.
test your aptitude, you must stay underwater the longest in the lake.
I like a good competition.
Cool.
That's how I learnt to shoot.
And the winner gets 10 points for their house.
Okay.
Do we roll again?
So, you've cast the spell,
Oh.
but now you have to go out into the water.
Can we talk in the bubble?
Yeah, but it's distorted through the water, but you can talk in the bubble. Yeah.
So I can cast spells?
But does that mean you're using your breath?
For,
Are you holding your breath?
The
during
first
it?
thing that no, you're not holding your breath. You have a bubble
Yeah.
of air around your head. Is everyone walks up to the water, and some people have to recast their spells, the ones that were very apt. But one girl, Bariath, you see her, and she's standing, and she casts the spell, and then she deactivates it, and then she turns and gives you a little smile,
What
and
are you
she
doing?
dives into the water. And mid-air, her form shifts and changes, and she pulls into the shape of a Welsh puffin, and then splashes down into the water and swims down underwater. And
Is that against the rules?
Rowena claps and says, "Oh, an animagus! Oh, that's wonderful.
Is that...
You've got some competition then. Go on."
Oh,
Puffins can't hold their breath forever either.
I'm going to reset my bubble. I want to practice doing it again.
So you got to roll it again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kylie Infinitus!
2 successes
Same.
again. But it still works. Cool. So you all go underwater?
That's 2. I've done 2 spells now. And I walk in the water. Oh, it's bloody cold.
It is bloody cold. And I'm going to get you to make a strength check with a challenge level for this is 2. Success for Liam with 2 successes. Success for Nicholas with 2 successes. And a success for Wiley. But 1 or 2 of the students, there is as soon as they get to like their waist, there's a and the bubble pops and they like splutter before they even begun, and Rowena just beckons them out and says, "You're out, you failed. The cold water made them splutter." So you descend. You reach your neckline.
Have I learned any jinxes yet?
1 or 2 sneaky ones from spellbooks.
I am not above cheating. I would like to cheat in some way.
Okay, who would you like to cheat against?
You bastard! Go on, do your worst.
I'd like you to make a sleight of hand check to discreetly cast the spell.
We're underwater,
I'm
yeah.
going to say something like,
Yeah, but there's other people
I'll
watching.
get you, plodder. Get it? Because it's like, plodder.
Can I Destiny?
You may, Destiny.
You
I
bastard.
should roll again, so that was the first one.
You bastard.
Cool. Second one. You'll like this.
Okay.
Cool.
Yep.
So, and now I'll get you to make a check. And what Jinxie? What are you planning to do? There's a bunch. Just you can make up something like minor.
Do anything to make their heads bigger?
Sure, yeah.
With
that would be a bit obvious,
with the
though.
intention of their bubble bursting.
You would probably burst the bubble or something. Is probably more
burst
easy.
the bubble!
Yeah, that's
Burst
probably
the bubble!
more easy than like enlarging it and more and less obvious.
Yeah, okay, yeah, burst the bubble, burst the bubble.
Okay, I'm going to say popping the bubble is only going to be challenge level 2.
With a jinx?
Jinx.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Just like a pop.
1, 2, 3.
Oof.
the bubble pops right as you get underwater. But I'm going to get you to make a destiny roll, Nicholas.
Okay.
One!
And with a rush and a splutter, the water slaps into your face, and you thought you were going to get a chance to quickly throw it a cut and get another shot, but you don't manage,
No.
and you just splutter, and Rowena beckons you out of the pool. In this moment, Merlin is watching, but seems to have just been like, oh, that's unfortunate underwater. But you turn to your other side, and you see Morgan looking at you, and she just smiles and nods at you.
I wink at her.
And you stay underwater. You're out, buddy.
Bugger.
Okay, so underwater, I'm going to get you guys to make another check. This one is going to be, I'm going to say a swim check. Just as you, because you have to go under the water. So we're seeing one of the biggest troubles with being underwater with the full
Staying
lungs
down.
of air is staying underwater. So I'm going to get you to all make a swim
It's
check.
lungs and a bubble
Yeah.
of air.
And I'm rolling for other students too. This isn't a... So the challenge level will be 2. Success. So that was
So Liam.
Merlin. Actually, no, that was Morgan.
Oh, Wiley can't do
Wiley
it.
fails.
You
and
have Destiny
pops
if you
up
want to
from
use it.
underwater. Merlin succeeds. Morgan succeeds. I'm going to give an advantage to... Okay. So, Baraith is fine. There's a puffin like swimming around her and you being a little butt.
What does Wiley do? Does Wiley use...
Yeah, so you like are now floating up out of the water and you're getting close to the surface.
Yeah, I'll use it. Destiny.
Use a point if you want.
Yeah, you can use a destiny point to to succeed in standard order, or you can just fail the check. It's up to you.
But then
I
you
might-
can't use the Destiny later, so it's up to you.
That's all right. I'll fail.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Wiley, you just like the spell succeeds, but you sort of float to the surface and then pop up, and Rowena's just like, get out, you pull out of the water.
Yeah.
And one by one, more students fail until there are 4. Baraith swimming around as a puffin, and you've also got Merlin, Morgan, and Liam, all underwater, representing 2 Slytherins and a Gryffindor. Slytherin will be proud. Suddenly, I'm going to get you to make a perception check. Challenge level for this is, again, 2. These are basic things happening. You fail. You don't notice.
Okay.
Unless you want to use Destiny.
No.
You already used one on your prank, you bastard.
Yeah. failed, and our boy Merlin failed. Everyone failed to notice. All right, so I'm going to just say it is becoming harder and harder to maintain your composure in the cold. It's the air. Your spells are holding true, and you seem to have infinite air. But probably 20 minutes passes, and you guys have Rowena has just cast spells to remove the wet from your cold. But after that period of time underwater, you have become really chilly. So I'm going to get you all to make a strength check.
You all speaking to the three characters you're playing.
The two characters I'm playing, Merlin, Morgan, and Rob. So Merlin is not a strong boy, so he just has base 3, and he fails.
What's the challenge level?
Oh. Challenge level for this is going to be 2 again. Just keeping it 2. Liam succeeds.
Pretty
Smashes it.
Morgan also fails. And Morgan and Merlin pop to the surface. and Rowena beckons them out, leaving you alone. In this brief moment with no looking around, and you're the last one underwater, what do you do?
I'm going to be glaring at the puffin.
Oh, the puffin's still there. Okay.
They've got to make the same check.
They do.
She's got
the
feathers.
puffin.
She's insulated.
Yeah, the puffin doesn't have to make this check.
Oh,
They swim in the fridge.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Swimming around. I'm going to make a destiny roll for her to see how long her puffin's natural underwater, probably 10 or 20 minutes is probably as long as they can hold out. I don't know. So, yeah.
Is that good for me or bad for me?
That's good for you. That's for her. Yes. And after a while, the puffin
That was a 7.
swims over to you, and then she nods her head and pops out of the water, and then jumps to the riverbank and transforms back into Boraith. And then, underwater, you're alone.
I would like to stay down as long as possible as a show of strength.
Cool. Shortly after, in front of you, you see a dark shape move in the water. And it moves
Can
again.
I do a perception?
Make a perception check. Challenge level 1. It's gotten closer. You succeed.
What is it?
There is a...
Hinky punk.
Make a intelligence... You don't have any kind of wizardry, so intelligence. Oh yeah, I'm going to say yeah, but you didn't put points in vocation, animals, or anything, did you?
No, but I'm learning the trade with my
Yeah,
parents.
so you're still just an intelligence check. You can make the check. Challenge level is going to be a 3 though.
What was your attribute spent in, Jeremy?
Because you could have put. I realised.
Fuck it, destiny.
I realised that you
Actually,
could,
no.
You should have. Or could have put your points into like things like magical creatures,
I
and
should've.
vocation stuff. But anyway, doesn't matter.
No, challenge level. I got a 2.
So you don't recognize it, but you do recognize it looks like a underwater horse with a long flowing tail that's floating towards you. But you don't know what that is. Never encountered one before. It sort of floats up closer to you. And then it
Do I know?
shoulders its back towards you. Beckons.
Do I know any aggressive jinxes?
Not that you feel confident casting underwater at this stage of your scholarly pursuit.
You play that really enticingly. I was like this close to jumping on your back.
Can I just use like a blast from like a generic blast of power from my wand?
You're aggressively attacking this creature?
Yeah, I want to try and scare it off.
Okay. Make a jinx check. Underwater, I'll say it's probably challenge level 3. Your wand splutters and nothing occurs. And it still sort of beckons with its back for you to ride it.
I ignore it.
Cool.
I don't want to do anything that'll risk my bubble popping.
And then the Kelpie swims away. And shortly after, you feel a motive force pull you up out of the water. And Rowena, with her wand, beckons this globule of water that you're floating in. So you're in a ball of water to the shore, and then just drops it on the sand, like on the bank, and it goes whoosh, on the ground.
Superhero land.
Make an acrobatics check. Challenge
Athletics.
Sure. Oh no, falling from the sky and landing is probably acrobatics. Sorry. Say it's acrobatics.
Wait, acrobatics.
Challenge level 2.
3.
You're the bad boy.
You skillfully land.
You're like such the bad boy.
And Morgan smiles at you again. She seems to be slowly getting more impressed by you.
What's got it going on? I don't know what to tell you. It's an impressive specimen.
10 points for Slytherin. Good work.
You cheated.
Thank you.
And you all head on in, warmed by magic and fueled by your education in the class of charms.
A lot along. I'm going to keep saying that to you.
3 months pass, and you may all spend a skill point, however you'd like.
I love charms. I want to learn more charms. Plus, it's Ravenclaw, so like, you know, I'm the Ravenclaw teacher's pet.
Can we pick a new one of the spell groups?
Yep, you've been studying.
Right. I've got 2 points in charms.
You put another point in charm. What did you do? What did you do?
I haven't picked yet.
What did you do?
Perception.
That's cool.
Counter a spell. It would have been a lot easier to cheat if I could just get rid of his spell.
Fair enough.
You're upset. Ever since character creation, Rob's been obsessed with the idea of getting counterspell.
I have. That's true. I just think it's a useful talent.
You can see our
Been
character
taught how
creation
to do it.
process if you're a patron, by the way.
It's true.
We
Extended character
Yeah,
creation process.
we record like an hour of figuring it out. That's all there for
Was
you.
it really an hour?
Mostly of us fucking around with accents.
Okay, yeah, that's
We
true.
just couldn't find out what it was going to be, really.
There was like this much like character creation. It's just like,
So much
"Now what
Neil's
sort of
canon."
voice do I want to speak in for this one? I chose that one. All right.
So 3 months have passed, and you are entering beast slaying, which is one of the classes. Things are a bit different back in the Middle Ages. It's not care of magical creatures. It's beast slaying. Hello, everyone. Welcome to class. You've learnt the basics, some defensive hexes and charms to keep away foul creatures seek to destroy us. But you are all fledglings in this world, and you lack the metal to carry wand and sword, he says, drawing the sword with a flourish. But there has been an intruder upon the grounds of Hogwarts, and with you all, I shall make a lesson of slaying it. Together. Are you ready for your test, students?
What's the intruder, sir?
Bring it on.
He hasn't even said what it is yet.
Does it matter?
I suppose he does do dragons.
It is a... And his wand flicks out, and he traces this like magical shape in the air that draws the picture as he follows it around. And you see this horrible, beastly hyena, fused with a wolf with a long tail, but hulking and aggressive looking. He says, "It's a crocotta. One of the foulest combinations of the savannah hyena combined with the cunning and intellect of a wolf. They're a horrible beast. They lure and kill non-magic users everywhere.
Is that such a bad thing?
They kill us too, boy."
I'd like to see it try.
I really hope this guy doesn't get a job in politics.
With confidence like that, perhaps you could have been a Gryffindor, but it is misplaced. One of these beasts would tear any of you asunder. That is why I will be with you, to protect you.
So what do we do, sir?
Well, part of your learning has been the tracking of these beasts and how, working together, your jinxes and charms should be able to subdue it. I will be there to protect and guide you, but mostly, this little test will be on your capabilities to apply everything you've learned in beast slaying up to this point.
Do we get a sword?
We'll leave the sword wielding to me. Oh, I've discussed with Rowena, and we agree that sword play shall be taught from the 3rd year onwards, as an elective.
Do I know by this point how many years there are at Hogwarts?
No, they don't even know.
Like,
But you're 11, so
and
you
I
assume there'd
say,
be a few.
third year. How many years are there?
Well,
For you, it'd be an extra 2 or 3 for sure.
Perhaps 6 or 7. But were we to spin a narrative of your time here, it may end up being 8. Although that would be 7 years.
The last year will be in 2 parts.
Depending on how stressful and dreary things become.
Hey, so the thing you need to know about dangerous beast is how it can kill you. So what has this Dracockle got on us?
Well, it is around 300. Wait. It's around 300 stone. It's pretty heavy.
Whoa!
Right? It's like a ton.
That's a bit more,
Okay.
I'm thinking.
Is it? How much is a stone to a kilogram? Medieval.
Just a bit translate.
Say
it in post.
300 stone.
We'll fix it in post.
I want it to be like 500 kilos.
Jeremy's looking at me like, am I fixing this in post? No, that's the joke. Anyway.
Okay. Pure muscle.
It's just under 2 tons.
Okay, no. 50 stone. What's that?
We're stuck on stones.
It's important! The viewers agree!
320 kilograms.
70 stone.
How
70
many sticks
stone.
does it weigh?
Wait, what do you want it to weigh in kilograms?
Shut up. It's 70 stone.
What do you want it to weigh in kilograms?
70
And I'll just tell you.
stone made of pure muscle with razor sharp teeth and claws and tear a man in twain in a single bite.
Hey, does it breathe fire or anything?
No. But you're the dragon tamer boy, yes?
Aye.
They lack the willingness that a dragon has to commune with humans. They wish only to eat us. So,
Any
take
danger
care.
in the tail?
No more than a wolf.
Aye. Claws, teeth. Got it. Let's get this thing.
I let Liam take the front and I sink to the back.
Yeah, chill back.
Yeah.
Merlin leans in to you and says, "Do you think you might like to learn swordsmanship? I quite like the idea of being like a knight of the tales in a court of wizards and knights. Oh, that would be my dream, I guess."
That'd be grand. I just think swords are shiny. And I've never had a shiny thing before. What about you, Wiley?
Oh,
You ever held a sword?
not a sword, but I have shiny potions back at home.
They're not made of metal, though. Metal's extra shiny.
Oh, yes.
Swords. Years. This is a great place.
What about an axe?
Aside from the animals that tear you apart and the teachers that set you out to fight them, it's a little debatable. Anyway,
My cousin's friend's dad is a knight, and he's a wizard. I hope to meet him
I
after
bet
I've
you
done
could
my
probably
studies.
be both. There's nothing saying you can't.
Cadogan's his name. I tell you what, after we've spent some time here, I'm gonna strike up a conversation. Maybe you could teach me some swordplay.
Can you teach me the swordplay he teaches you?
Yes, wonderful idea.
Yes!
Love it, Nicholas.
Have you got a sword?
No, but maybe I can magically create one.
You can magically create a sword?
Well, not yet, but one day.
Let's make that our project. I want to make a sword.
That's
They're
amazing.
shiny and sharp. Oh, they're all ahead of a quick catch up.
This conversation happens while you're heading out into the ground. So, you head out into the grounds, and you are tasked with finding the beast. There is a sickening roar in the distance. Far unlike the yelping laugh of a hyena, it's a foul, guttural roar, horrifying. It chills you to the bone.
It's a cross between a wolf and a hyena, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Visually, but it's a medieval beast of myth, so it's, you know.
I feel like at this point, could we spell up a little bit? Could we just like grab a few that we sort of know what they do, or do we just
Just make it up.
make
make it up? Because
Okay.
if you guys haven't done your research into Harry Potter,
That's on you.
Oh,
That's on you.
No, I'm going in this blind for Nicholas's sake. I'm trying to be authentic.
So you can use real spells. You can also just make up stuff. You've been here for 3 and a bit months.
Expelliarmus is charms, right?
Expelliarmus doesn't exist yet.
Oh, what?
Yep.
Really?
Correct.
How do you know that?
Because I have done a lot of research for this. And Expelliarmus was made a while later.
All right. I'll use the precursor to Expelliarmus.
There isn't one.
Did you say expel your armus?
The precursor is the spell that removes the fingers.
Expelliarmus!
That's the precursor to Expelliarmus.
I told
it's the
you.
jinx that makes their fingers disappear and then one just falls out of their hand.
I told you, phalangio disapperia.
Yeah. Phalangio Disapperio is the precursor to Expelliarmus.
All right. Done. I'll write that down.
Okay, so how are you going to track the beast using your knowledge you've learnt in the beast class that you 3 people have never been to, but your characters have been studying for months?
Hey, well, the first thing you do when you're looking for a beastie is either try and draw it to you by using a bait,
What do you have in mind?
or look for tracks.
I didn't go to school
I was
to be
thinking-
bait, says Barai.
Hey, I wasn't looking at you.
I was thinking traps.
Doesn't stop you baiting everyone else. I mumbled under my breath.
I suppose you're real clever.
Perhaps the muggle could be bait, says Morgan, looking at you.
I ain't a muggle. I'm a son of a muggle. That's different.
Yes, well, you smell like one.
And mud.
At least I don't smell like I'm up my own arse. I say to the
Hey, you smell
bloody
like you've been up someone
princess.
else's.
3 successes. I'm going to let you to do a spell casting like counter roll to try and avoid it. But she casts a spell upon you. The lip lock one. What was that called? You knew it.
Oh, fuck. No, it's gone.
It's fine. It's so important that we need to stop
Yeah.
playing for it.
Yeah.
So make a roll to see if you can dodge out of this just with your spell casting.
Just any spellcasting school of magic. This is me.
No, you don't. We'll say this is a counter spell school, so you're not trained in it. So just the 3, just your base. Actually, and she'd have an extra dice now.
Challenge level 4.
No, yeah, well, it is because that's what she rolled. She got 4 successes.
Well,
on
if I
6
get
dice.
3 successes, I'm using Destiny. I get 2 successes.
Well, you should have had one more because I said your attributes count for spell casting.
Oh, yeah. Yes! And I use a Destiny point.
And you match, which means the victory goes to the person.
What? Oh, I don't use
Don't
the
use the
Destiny
destiny.
point.
Yeah, because she'd win in the case of the tie.
What does she do?
So she spouts out Langlock at you, and your tongue is now affixed to the roof of your mouth.
God damn it.
Hey, he sounds better than he did before.
Wonderful.
I'm so mean to you. I'm so sorry.
Eloquence from you.
You're all a bunch of assholes.
Now you'll watch your tongue around nobility. Know your betters, peasant. And then she walks astride and she says, "Come, Liam." And she beckons you.
Now, out of character, the great thing about playing someone who's very slow-witted is when I, as a player, can't think of any great retorts, it's in character.
Yeah.
So I'm just like...
Is there any way to reverse it?
Oh yeah, there's
Right.
a little counter charm or something.
I'm like...
You can attempt to roll
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
It,
You need to beat
I'm gonna-
her original roll
Oh golly.
of 4. What are you spellcasting in? Transmogrification is transforming something into something else, so that won't help you. So you
Yeah.
just have 4 dice.
Look, doing a northern accent was hard enough before.
just make mumbly noises. 3 successes.
No,
No.
I got me going, look me losing it now.
So how are we looking for this then? Says Morgan, ignoring you, fuming with your tongue stuck to the roof of your
I
mouth.
was thinking-
Godric is like strutting.
Can I cast spells with my tongue stuck through my
You can
mouth?
attempt to.
I'm going to attempt
What do
to.
you attempt to cast?
I'm going to attempt... Okay, give me the synopsis of charms again.
Changing the properties of something is a charm.
Okay.
So what would you like to do?
Turning a...
Shoes to lead.
Yeah, I was going to go something along those
Heavy
lines.
shoes.
Is she wearing any headpieces?
No. Actually, a witch's hat seems very appropriate for her.
Well, she's all up on her looks, I want to turn her hat into glue.
Okay. I'd like you to roleplay that.
I just
Roll a destiny roll.
say out of the side of my
No
mouth.
spellcasting check for this.
13.
13. There's a brief eye as a couple of the students turn back to you and you're like, just like jutting your wand out at her, and absolutely nothing is happening. And at this stage, Merlin comes over to you. And he touches his wand to your throat and your tongue unconnects and he says, I let it go. And puts his hand on the top of your wand to put it down.
All right.
Some people just are rotten to the core. And I'm starting to think that Morgan isn't very nice.
That Liam's got it out. Oh, God.
Well, perhaps he's just got a bad influence. Maybe we, convince him to be better.
That sounds like a lot of work and patience. I'd rather...
Meanwhile, at your left to actually look, is anyone going to actually look for this thing? Make a survival check.
Survival.
Or tell me what you were going to do, actually.
I wanted to look for tracks.
That's exactly what I thought you... Yeah, cool. Make a survival check.
Wiley's the only one being useful.
You succeed, and you find a path of tracks that lead across the hills and start to wind towards the forest.
I call on...
the group.
Yeah.
And they start following you. Good work, Wiley. Wonderful job finding those
Thank
tracks.
you.
That's the way to go about it. Not like these people. Tomfoolery back here.
Seeing him get praise, can I also examine the tracks to try and get more information out of it based on like the size of it?
Yes, but as you go down to do so and start to look for it, there's a soft voice behind you. Liam?
Aye?
Might I have a word with you?
About what? I'm a
Well,
bit busy.
I just wonder why you're insisting on being so nasty to Nicholas.
I just think he shouldn't be here.
Why is that? He's got every right to be here.
Hey, he's not very good though.
Well, it's true that he's a bit rough around the edges, but he's better than a lot of the street peddling wizards I've seen around.
Hey, but I got 4 brothers that are better than him and could be doing a better job than him. They deserve a place here too.
Well, are you questioning Professor Ravenclaw's choice?
Hey, a little bit. Yeah.
Well, I think perhaps you should look inside yourself and maybe think that he was chosen for a reason. And he's obviously got something special.
Hey, he's special, all right.
You've got to watch out, Liam. That kind of attitude will see you make no friends at all. Not the good sort.
Whatever.
He turns tail, clutching his book, and toddles off behind Nicholas.
Can I continue doing my check?
Yes, you can now make your check.
What's my challenge?
Survival check.
What's my challenge level for more information?
Probably more than 2.
1,
3.
2, 3.
Cool.
You're playing your character beautifully. It's
I
great.
feel so mean.
No, it's fantastic. You need the Draco. You got to have it's
the
great.
Draco was meant to be Morgan, but I guess we have 2 Dracos.
Yeah. Well, they're sort of like
it's
they
a
work
power couple.
Yeah, it's great.
So you follow the tracks
They need
a
a
bit
couple
longer, and
then.
after a while you spot a mauled remains of what looks to be a rabbit that Wiley has missed out on spotting.
Hey, that thing didn't have a good time, did it?
And Gryffindor leans in. Oh boy, what have you found there?
It's some more remains of some rabbit or something.
That's been torn to shreds.
Big teeth.
I tell you, that's why we worry about these things. Good spot. And that looks like a fresh kill. Very good find. The crocotta can't be too far away.
Crocotta?
Crocotta.
Crocotta.
Shall we head on?
Lead the way, sir.
Oh, you're leading.
Aye.
I'm just keeping you safe. This is your test.
So on we go then. Wiley, keep up.
So Wiley and Liam are leading the group, looking along the path. And the path winds through the edge of the dark forest. The unnatural dark of the canopy creeps in much faster than any other forest, and soon you find yourselves in an area that is almost difficult to see. You can only see the little gaps.
Lumos.
Make a spellcasting check. So 4.
4. What's the challenge level?
For Lumos, probably 2.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. And there's a after.
Wanna wipe that smug grin off your face?
Hey, get in close if you want to see. Morgan, I got a spot for you right here.
There's a quick chattering of Lumos, Lumos, Lumos from other students. And
Bloody copycats.
Lumos. I can't do it.
Was that 4?
Okay, can we just appreciate how good the rolls have been? For
It's
this role
fantastic.
play?
Lumos. Lumos. Lumos?
Lumos.
Lumos. You can't do it either. Is it Lumos or Lumos?
I don't know.
Or Lumos?
did you guys succeed?
No, both of us failed. So, is it how you hold it? I forget if was it the ring finger out or Lumos?
Let's just stick near Merlin for now.
All right.
I kind of head back towards Merlin.
One day I won't have to lean on Merlin to get a spell done. I mean, he's very talented, but I just want to be competent one day, you know?
It just takes time.
Merlin, who sees all this bit of Pompey aptitude and spellcasting, throws out a spell, and he says, he flicks open his book, and then he's like, Lumus Sphericus. And he just like gently taps his wand, and it's almost like bubbles just start to float out of the top of his wand, and then they ignite in blue flame and just like float out from him, and he beckons his wand, and they just like float up and illuminate the whole area. Everyone else has got their little wand tips looming, and he says
real
it
clever.
quietly enough that no one else heard the incantation.
But it stemmed from him.
Yeah, you know it stemmed from him.
I suppose you're real clever then. You know wolves are afraid of light. It's probably just ran off now that it's seen all this.
Well, isn't that what we want?
Hey, we're hunting the damn thing. How the hell do you think we're going to find it if you've scared it off?
I'm not worried about that.
I look for a very sharp stick.
You find one.
I want to turn it to metal. Like a sword.
Okay, challenge level is going to be 4. But it is transfiguration.
Yeah. Oh, is it? I thought it was charms.
Yeah,
changing the
an object's
property.
No,
Charms.
that would be changing its type, literally changing the object.
Okay, well,
so making a stick
Hard.
I make
light
it.
or heavy is charm. Making a stick
What
into
about
something
strong
else. Stronger, yeah. You could
Hardness.
make it harder, yeah.
and sharper?
Sure.
Yeah, doing
Go
that.
for it. Challenge level is still 4.
Stickiest, Maximus, Sharpiest, heaviest.
Oh, God.
It doesn't work.
I use a destiny point.
Okay, you have a sharp stick with properties similar to that of like a hot iron poker for a fire.
I'm a really strong, sharp stick.
Can I attempt to make it metal?
Then we're getting very bogged down.
No, this is
Sure, you can
important.
attempt to
Trust
make
me,
it
this will pay dividends.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
You know what I'm
Challenge
going
level
for,
4.
don't you?
This is a tough one for you.
I
in the
love
first
the
years.
idea.
It's like
Here, let me try.
it's like sword play.
Stickiest metallus.
He got it.
It
Shoom.
turns to metal.
It's like a sword. Here, let me do one for you. And you pick up a stick, and I go to.
Make perception checks, everyone. Challenge level 2.
Oh, I love it.
No.
Perception.
I'm just going to say, in roleplay, I'm too busy checking out Morgan,
Nah,
my 11-year-old
I
compatriot.
failed perception.
You're also
Wiley smashes it.
Wiley smashes it. You look ahead, and a dark figure moves through the trees. The only other person who seemed to notice it was Godric himself, who draws his sword at the ready, and then
And I
through the
pull out a
clearing-
sharp metal stick.
You don't even notice because
Oh,
you failed
no,
your
okay.
perception roll. And through the clearing at the head, there is more movement. Godric steps forward, and a shape, tall and with cloven hooves, 4 legs, but the upper body of a man, steps out of the woods. Oi, what are you doing in my woods? He says, and Godric says, "Oh, it's just one of you. We're tracking a beast. We're tracking a crocotta. I like your pretty lights." He gestures to the group. What's a bunch of fledglings doing in a dangerous place like this?
What are you calling a fledgling, mate?
You, little boy. And he prances over to you, standing massive above you.
I lock eyes.
He's got like a longbow over his back and like a sword at his side. You lock eyes. He's going to intimidate you, or attempt to.
Mate, I stare down dragons.
You're still a little boy. You might think you stare
I'm
down
cocky.
dragons.
I am cocky. I wrote it in a character
You
description.
work with your family in the family business of, you have the safety
Eat
net
three.
of the people you're
What am I
with.
doing?
You are face to face with someone right
I'm
now.
going to say probably just a stat.
Beat
What
it.
can you beat it with?
I mean, deceiving him that I'm not intimidated,
Yeah.
or persuasion that I'm not intimidated.
I'd say
Persuasion.
persuasion.
2, 3.
You match it. Okay, so you're both like standing off at each other, and he looks down. Have you no respect, boy? You're in my woods.
Aye.
Godric is standing at the ready. All the students are like scared. This is kind of terrifying. Aye, you've got no respect.
Aye, I'm in your woods, but shouldn't you be nice to someone in your house? Your home.
Not if they're uninvited.
Hey, as far as I see it, we're doing you a favour by hunting this thing.
Destiny roll. Centaurs aren't very nice. 15.
I was lucky.
Maybe, boy. And then he picks you up by the scruff off the ground. And he's just like, maybe you are. And maybe you're a bit big for your britches. Little
I
wizard.
don't even know what they are. You're not wearing pants.
Oh.
Godric, he says, looking. He clearly knows him, and he's like, this one's impertinence doesn't go unnoticed. Indeed. Indeed. You're right.
I like say off to the side, make an example out of him.
Rowan! Do you know anything? Rowan, do you know anything of the Crocata? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Liam,
Aye.
show some respect. 10 points from Slytherin. 10 points from Slytherin. Yeah, you are Slytherin. I keep forgetting because I've put some people in weird houses. 10 points from Slytherin. And there's like a laugh from Morgan, who's happy as a Gryffindor. Cockiness are not the best features of your father house. Try to keep a lid on it when around noble creatures. And Rowan bows his head and drops. He doesn't put you down, he just drops you into the dirt. And then he says,
Can I superhero land again?
no, you just get dropped. You're an 11-year-old kid. You're not the Mary Sue. And a couple of the kids laugh at you for getting scolded the way they do. They quickly turn on who's popular.
I still.
I'm just opting in, and the kids that laugh at him.
Yeah.
It went that way.
Don't like
the
Liam.
beast that you seek. And he points. And the group journeys on, and he recedes back into the woods. And after a period of time, you hear the snarling howls of a foul beast just over the edge and in a clearing. What are you waiting for? Who goes first?
I'm cocky. I'm straight in.
Cool.
And at this point, I'm like, well, I'm not going to let him get all the credit again. I've got a sharp metal stick. And I
Bound
run in with it.
over the ledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You staying back or going with him?
Yeah. I'll follow.
Merlin keeps at your side, but the other students hang back a little bit. And you crest the rise, and looking down in front of you, you see a strange beast. It has unusually long legs. It has almost a porcupine-like ball of fur for its main body, a thick, bushy coat, and a snout that's a bit elongated. But it has a short tail that wags. It's unnaturally tall, like 50% taller than a regular dog would stand on these long, legs, and it looks towards you. Snarls for a brief moment.
Oh my.
Oh my.
I Liam to sort of see what direction he's going and go in the opposite direction to try and corner it. Mm-hmm. So he's holding it at bay with a wand, or?
Yeah, I'm pointing my wand at it, ready to see if it reacts to us.
It's just looking at you all.
Hey, sir, is that the beastie we're hunting?
Aye, sir, is that the beastie we're hunting? Says the dog.
What was that?
What was that?
It's
Mouth moving and emulating your words.
Beast! Cease this tomfoolery at
Cease
once!
this tomfoolery at once!
Does Gryffindor say anything?
They all crest the hill now.
I poke it with a...
Says Gryffindor. No, what is that then? And you guys don't know. I'm going to see if Merlin and Morgan know.
Would I know?
No.
Oof, that was a good roll.
Rare.
Was that Merlin?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Morgan.
of course it was. Morgan
doesn't know either. You need 4 successes and you don't have a vocation relevant to it.
Wouldn't it be base 3 in intellect?
Oh, yeah, you can chance it.
Yeah.
He should have actually had 1 more dice, but it doesn't matter.
No.
Cool. You also don't know. Merlin says, sir, that one would...
3 dice.
That one, that's a Gatulian dog. A mimic dog. And meanwhile, that's a Gatulian dog. A mimic dog, says the dog. They're incredibly rare and sought after. Friendly and loyal and, well, fantastic at mimicking things. Godric says, wonderful! It wasn't a crocotter at all. I would never set students against such a beast. But well played, well tracked, and well found.
I could have taken it.
Friendly. You see that rabbit
with
back
my
there?
Steel stick.
Thing's not friendly to the rabbit.
Well, that was a plant. But you found it well. We're not going to set you first years out tracking real beasts. What do you take us for? But excellent job, everyone. I hope you've learned a valuable lesson and, hopefully, we've met a new friend. And with that, the Gatulian dog found on the grounds is taken into Hogwarts. And the first, one of the first sort of mascotty, weird, whimsical things for the early years is the mimic dog, which lives in the Great Hall. It doesn't always mimic everything you guys say, but it is smart and does tricks and is a cool, loyal dog, although it looks really weird.
I still think I could have taken it. I turn to Merlin on the walk back and say, I've got this though. We could turn this into a sword. I say, holding a metal stick. It's sharp on the end. It's just got to be straight and sharp on the sides.
Well, yes, we can refine its form, of course.
And learn swordplay together. I love magic. That was
Critical
bad.
fail.
That was a very
That's
bad
critical
roll. That was a
fail.
critical fail roll.
Gryffindor completely doesn't notice that you've made a sword and lets you keep it.
Yes!
That's amazing.
So you just have this contraband
That's
weapon
such a good roll to
that you're
fail.
supposed to not have. But you just now have a sword.
And the first contraband of Hogwarts.
And over the next month, you and Merlin refine its shape. And Wiley, if he wants to be involved in this
Yeah,
gang.
definitely.
So you're starting to befriend Merlin and Nicholas? Cool. With this sort of outcasts group. And yeah, you make it into a rough-hewn sword.
Love it. All right.
Made of wood, but then turned to metal.
The adventure will continue in part 2.
Sure.
Because we got more Hogwarts to explore, people.
I've had a great time. I don't know about you guys, but this is bloody
This
funny.
is probably one of the funnest one-shot settings I've experienced.
Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying
You've nailed the tone, Dave. Well done. The opening, I felt really brought in the magic. And I think the setting for early Hogwarts, I think it feels right. Like it's really
It's about discovery. They're trying new things and they're setting
yeah.
that. It's cool.
But it still feels there's this discovery and the familiar, which is really fun. So well done. Thank you all so much for watching. Join us next week for part 2 of our
And
first
if you
year in
love it,
Hogwarts.
let us know.
Please.
So we know whether or not that we're doing the thing.
Yeah.
Do more years at the school. See what happens.
I'd love to see
Like,
what happens.
comment, and
Who are these
subscribe if you want to see
mysterious-
Year 7 Part 2 eventually happen.
Who are these mysterious, like Merlin and Morgan? They're unique characters. I've never heard of them in any kind of thing.
Yeah.
So why are they around?
Yeah, the 7 years of Hogwarts is like, that's just Hogwarts. But if this is, if we go through this journey, there's no reason we can't have careers after. Let's just see where this rabbit hole goes. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Go OS!